Coming up on this week's show, Ubisoft just can't seem to bring Skull and Bones into port. Xbox announces a new developer direct for January, and Simon Pegg joins Hogwarts Legacy. Hello friends and welcome to the Weekend Catch-Up Club podcast, the coffee morning show brought to you every week where friends hang out and chat about some of the latest stories going on in the industry. You can follow the show on all your favourite platforms or watch the video version over on youtube.com/gamertag. This is episode 91, the first show of a brand new gaming year, and joining me as always is the man with the personality of a can of orange tango, the king of the tangent, emulating Hugh Hefner in fine form. Today is James McClellan.
Hello, mate. I'm not getting dressed for that. I'm too ill. I'm not getting dressed for anything today. It can bugger off.
We're all super ill and yucky today, but we're going to power through, and we're going to have some interesting vocal range, I think, with the bass going on, with choked up and chest infections and whatnot. And joining us in the co-host hot seat is none other than the voice from beyond. You've heard her in titles like Rollerdrome and Goat Simulator 3, and that was only 2022. Who knows what she's got bubbling away for 2023? It's the ethereal, the spooky, the immensely talented Sara Item.
Woo! All aboard the hype train. Whoop whoop.
Whoop.
I'm gonna overcompensate for the fact that I am overtired.
So, you care to explain your current situation, Sara? Where might you be for video watchers or video listeners that are? This is not your traditional padded cell.
Padded cell. Yeah. So I'm actually on the other side of the world right now. I am in New Zealand. I haven't actually been home since 2019, so it's a huge deal. I'm getting to see all my family. Connor and I are scoping out some wedding locations. Hobbiton may or may not be right at the very top of our list.
Oh my god, bag end.
Yeah. So that's gonna be super fun. And I haven't taken a holiday in a long time. And guess what happened while I was on the flight over? I checked my emails after getting off the first flight to San Francisco, and there were like 3 castings that had come through, and I was like, oh no, I can't audition for any of these. I was like, no, why does this always happen? It's all good. It's all good though, you know. I get to spend time with my family. I get to be in the summertime, which is great. So it's like 26 degrees here at the moment. Very warm.
Wow. We have overcast frost and just shitness everywhere. You know, it's not a happy place in the old UK right now. Weather-wise and other. Yeah, I know. God, I'm so jelly. Are you doing? Excuse me. Are you going to do the whole like extreme sports, death-defying activities? Because it is the adventure capital of the world.
It absolutely is. It absolutely is. Well, so Connor hasn't done a bungee jump yet, and I was like, "Oh, you got to do that. You got to do that." So we're gonna bungee jump. And I heard a rumor at some point that if you do it completely in the buff,
naked,
you get to do it for free.
I was kidding, but yeah, that's what you went there. Okay.
No, I wasn't.
Wow, where do they strap the bungee to? That's the real question. That's a worry. That is.
I'm going to leave that. People can imagine whatever they want.
Tumbleweed. Jamie had a thought, and they're like, I'm not going to say it. We'll get demonetized if Jamie says it, so that's fine.
Demonetized, get removed from the country.
Exactly. Oh, Sara, that's amazing. So Connor's going to be experiencing Goat Simulator in real life as you yeet him off a bridge or something like that.
Yeah, exactly. He gets to feel what I feel in the game.
Amazing. So, guys, this is our first get together sort of thing of 2023. Happy New Year! Happy New Year to each of you. Oh my goodness, it's not too late to say that. I like to think as long as it's still January, at any point in January, you can still. It's still valid to say Happy New Year to people. In February, it's a bit questionable. But January, at any time, between the 1st and 31st, you can say Happy New Year.
Does that mean I'm still allowed to have my Christmas tree up, or is that not in the same vein?
That's definitely not in the same vein. But
Oh.
I would never question anybody who wants to have it 365 days a year. If you want to embrace the Christmas spirit every day, as we should, go for it. But just don't sing Mariah Carey every single day.
I'll try and resist.
I
Definitely
thought
not
about
one of my-
leaving my tree up.
James got his tree up as well. You can probably
I
just
thought about it. I thought about leaving the tree up for the year. I had a plan that I was going to decorate it for the different seasons and everything. So I was going to leave the tree up in the window, and I was going to do like a Valentine's tree where I just covered it with money, because that's all the holiday's about. And I was going to do like an Easter tree where I just covered it with chocolate. Because
now we're talking.
yeah, and I had all these plans, and then it just into the new year, I was looking at it, I was like, or I could take it down because it's in the fucking way and I can't move and plow, and I'll do something really clever next year. 2024, that's what we're looking forward to now.
That's it. Planning ahead, as you should do. Like a responsible professional person, plan ahead.
Yeah, or problem for future Jamie, it would be the other way of looking at it. But
why do it today when you can put it off tomorrow? That's my mantra. Yeah, I think that's how it goes, isn't it, Sarah?
Yeah,
sounds good to me.
Yeah,
I subscribe.
So, ladies and gentlemen, friends, we are on episode 91, and we have a really good show. We've got a lot of interesting topics today. We've got some Ubisoft information, news that is less than stellar, unfortunately, so we'll chat a little bit about that. We have an Xbox Developer Direct coming at the end of this month. That's hugely exciting. We're going to talk a little bit about that. And we have news of a certain actor who is being cast as the Headmaster in Hogwarts Legacy that we're hugely excited for. Of course, it's Simon Pegg. We're going to be talking a little bit about that because that just sounds like awesome casting. So, the more I think about Hogwarts Legacy, the more I'm actually really excited to play it and jump into that world again, the wizarding world, because it's still so unique that we don't actually get many games like that. Tone, vibe, kind of atmosphere. It's like ye old England, and it's I guess heyday, I guess is maybe the right term, but it's like the countryside, and then you've got these quaint little villages and stuff, and you've got like proper wizards and magic living among the muggles, and I think it's just a wonderful franchise, and I can't wait to see how good the game turns out. But Sarah, Simon Pegg news, are you excited for Phineas Nigellus Black being the Headmaster?
Oh, super pumped. When I watched the announcement video, I was like, oh. And then when he mentioned something about how hardly any really good British actor is not already in Harry Potter. And I was like, oh, Simon, you're finally joining the ranks.
That's it. You've made it. If
But
you're
like,
in Harry Potter, you made it.
He's been like waiting outside the casting room door going, can I be in this one? Can I be in this one? Can I be in the video game? Come on, guys, let me be in something. But this is super cool. Like, I think it's just from the little bit that you can see in the video, the announcement video, he has done an amazing job with this character, and I'm so excited to see who else we might get. If we're getting this caliber, like, as a little teaser of who we might have in the game, I'm really excited to see what other celebrity casting there might be. And just generally, I'm always excited about voice acting in games. I'm just like, okay, who's going to play this part? And I just think he really suits it, like the performance that he's giving. And you can see, when he's working behind the scenes, and he's just fully embodying the character the whole way through. I'm like, okay, no, this is gonna be good. It's gonna be good. And I like him as well. Like, I like his stuff. So yeah, it makes my tummy bubble in an excited way to see who we might get. Who else we might get.
Yeah, I mean, well, it's Warner Brothers that are behind the franchise, the ownership of the kind of the IP for all of this stuff. So, like, they've got a wide reach for talent, haven't they? So they could wrangle in, I'm sure, really unique and surprising casting choices and things like that. So,
yeah,
man, Super, super cool. Super exciting. I can't wait for it. I think it's coming out. When is it? March or something? It's still a little bit of a ways off.
Must be. Yeah, that sounds right.
Yeah, or is it March, February time? I think maybe it's next month actually. Anyway, but it just I'm excited for it, and I hope it turns out really, really well because obviously a lot of talent and a lot of passion has been going into it. And again, the fan base that is just super excited for being able to create their own character in this world and ride a griffin, fly a griffin around or things like that, and get the whole sorting hat thing.
So
and
good.
I know there's a lot going into it. Like customizing it's like the common room of your house that you get allocated into. It's just and like Quidditch as well. You get to play Quidditch mini games and whatnot, and it just looks super, super awesome. I can't wait.
Yeah, and it also looks gorgeous, doesn't it? I was I can't remember if it was. I don't think it was this Simon Pegg announcement trailer. It might be another trailer for the game in general, but it just looks so pretty, and I can't wait. It's the same kind of thing that you get from like that I got from Red Dead Redemption 2, that I got from Ghost of Tsushima, like when you're traveling around in the world and the world itself is like, it feels like it's a character in the game because it's so beautiful and fleshed out, and you get this chance to explore this amazing creation alongside hopefully a really good storyline, which I think we're in for something good, especially if we've got some really strong acting. So yeah, it's gonna be good.
I think so, and I'm sure they're going to be bringing a lot of comic relief in, whether it's like a Dobby like character could be huge and a lot of fun. Like the potential for the characters that they could draw upon and also make new versions of huge. I think it's absolutely huge.
Yeah.
Anyway, Jamie,
absolutely.
quick thoughts from you, pal?
Yeah, it looks fantastic. And Simon Pegg, I'm a huge fan of Simon Pegg, have been for years. So I since, all the way back to like popping up in Black Books and doing Spaced. Spaced, one of the best TV shows ever made. Which does make me think, if they're going to do comic relief, and I know it's not necessarily fair to him because he's an incredible actor in his own right, but if they're going to do a comic relief type house elf character, I want it to be voiced by Nick Frost alongside Simon Pegg. Because that would strike me incredibly funny. But yeah, the Harry Potter franchise, the world that they've built around it is, I like the notion of a world that's sort of very recognizable as our world, but with magic overlaid onto it. It's always like stuff like that is always a nice. It's the same reason that I mean, not the same sort of thing, but stuff like Buffy or God forbid, Twilight and that sort of thing. You've got the very much our world, but the supernatural is overlaid on top of it, like that sort of. So I've always enjoyed that kind of notion of, because it's semi realistic, like quote unquote realistic, but you've got that things that you know and recognize and see every day, and then even like if you look at the films, like the phone box that takes you down on a lift to the Ministry of Magic and things like that.
Yeah,
all those little things, like recognizable things from our day-to-day lives that have got a magic twist to them, and now we get to build a character in that world. I think that's fantastic. So yeah, very excited. I'm looking forward to giving it a go.
Yeah,
I'm sure really I will eventually.
I'm really excited for any potential Easter eggs. One thing I'm really hoping for is an obscure, quaint little village that you come across, and there's a pub called the World's End in it. That's what I want for Simon, and it's Simon Pegg's family or something like the Phineas Black family like owns it or something weird like that. And there's little nods here and there, just dotted throughout the world, and everything could be awesome.
Just if you buy it at like launch, maybe you can like get cornettos as like a little keyring or something.
So good.
Accessory with cornettos on it.
Yeah. There's a drink on the menu called Hot Fuzz, and it's just like a mead type drink or something. Things like this. You can just go nuts with it. Anyway. Shall we move on to the news about Ubisoft making the headlines again? This is obviously a little bit unfortunate. Coming from the article on Game Informer, Ubisoft cancels 3 unannounced games, and poor Skull and Bones has been delayed yet again. So it says Ubisoft has cancelled 300 of those games. The company has revealed in its latest financial update it has also delayed Skull and Bones, which has already been delayed several times. The company cites major challenges as the industry continues to shift towards mega brands and long-lasting titles that can reach players across the globe, across platforms and business models. It says that over the last 4 years, its strategy that has been about building long-lasting live games and adapting our strongest franchises like Assassin's Creed, Far Cry, and Tom Clancy games like Ghost Recon, Rainbow Six, and The Division to converging trends to make them truly global brands. However, the games from this investment phase have yet to be released, which is fair, while our recent launches have not performed as well as expected. So, I mean, Ubisoft are not looking particularly great in the industry and the headlines recently, and of course, off the back of that, there was an email that got sent out to all staff from Yves Gilmore to say that it's basically in your hands whether or not the company's a success, which I thought was fucking outrageous. I can't believe the senior leadership of a major company said that to basically to all staff to say, look, you're the passion of the company. Is if we're successful, it's because it's basically your fault if we're not, is the subtext of it. And God, they're not looking really good, and they're not getting any favor right now, which is deeply unfortunate because just a couple of months ago we obviously did the show after their Assassin's Creed roadmap, which everything sounded super exciting. The roadmap for that, we had Assassin's Creed Jade, Assassin's Creed Hexe, the one set in Japan, which is coming, and it's like, and obviously the Assassin's Creed Mirage is coming this year. And we're thinking, okay, Assassin's Creed is getting back on form. It's going back to its roots by the looks of it for Mirage, and then the roadmap going forward just looked hugely exciting. And obviously, Skull and Bones is like this albatross around their neck that just seems to never look good ever when it gets shown off, and it seems to just never be in a state where they're happy with it to actually get it out. But I think it's too far gone now to cancel it. It's not a Duke Nukem Forever sort of situation where it never materializes. I think Ubisoft actually have to deliver this. But from the latest direct, the Skull and Bones The Deck is called over on YouTube. It's just not that it's missing something, because you can tell that there's a huge amount of talent going into it. There's a huge amount of ambition for what they want to do, but there's something lacking which is not captivating an audience that would probably buy this, that want a Black Flag 2, that want the pirate life, that want the Ubisoft version of Sea of Thieves, right? Where you can get off the ship and plunder. Whereas Skull and Bones still feels like it's locking you onto the pirate ship, and you never really leave unless it's to go to the different settlements and do bartering and things like that. But the actual gameplay elements, you're always on the ship. Like for combat and things like that, it's not like in Assassin's Creed Valhalla where you can raid a village and you jump off your Viking ship and then you go in and you burn the villages and you get the plunder and everything like that. You actually send, it's like a management sim where you send your crew off and they do that, and whilst you're piloting the ship and taking care of the enemies and things like that, and the other man of wars and things, and it's just not hitting. It's not clicking, and it's so depressing to think about all of the years of development and all of the talent that's going into this that are, I mean, I my heart almost breaks for being a developer on that game. Can you imagine? Like, you're working your ass off, you're talented and you're respected, but this game keeps getting delayed, and everything they show off, everybody's just like, this just looks not good. And that's all you're getting from all of that years of work. And it's heartbreaking, man. It's heartbreaking. I hope they land it. Poor Ubisoft. Anyway, Jamie, thoughts?
I don't think they can land it now. I just had my own panic attack. It's the first time my phone alarm has gone off through my watch, and that scared the crap out of me. Yeah, I don't know if they can land it now with Skull and Bones. I just don't think it's there. I remember the first announcement trailer for that at I think it was E3, and watching it live with friends and becoming so excited that we were going to get what looked like Sea of Thieves, which we played extensively at that point, like, and constantly. It looked like we were going to get Sea of Thieves, but hey, it's Sea of Thieves, but you know those gorgeous graphics we've got for AC, you know those incredibly intensely intricate worlds that we've built. Well, you're going to, instead of getting off of a cartoony ship and going to an island where you dig up a chest, you're going to go and there'll be bad guys and you fight them and there'll be this and there'll be that and there'll be just, and it was never shown, it was hinted at, which was fine because that was the announcement trailer. And then time went by and it just seemed to still be a case of we're hinting at it and then finally we've got something to show you, but it's crap, and it just didn't ever work at all. So I don't know. I Skull and Bones. I mean, I've lost interest personally. That's when I know that something's been dragging on for a long time, because that is a concept. Any game where I can get in a, it sounds really simplistic. Any game where I can get in a big vehicle with friends and zip off somewhere and then go and explore shit is my kind of game. I like that adventuring with buddies feel that, you know, you don't necessarily get to do in real life, so it's nice to do it in video games. And this could have been that in spades, and they did not deliver, or do not seem to be able to deliver. And then you add to it the fact that they are cancelling stuff on the sly. I know that things like the Rabbids games and the Just Dance titles, which have been sort of staples of theirs for years, their little sort of money pots in the background, are not selling the way they used to. I don't know. I think Ubi's in trouble. Ubi's, and they don't have like all of the mention of different franchises. Ubi's big franchise is AC. Let's be fair. Like, even Far Cry has a fan base.
Yeah,
it absolutely does, and should, because they've been some fantastic games in that series. But it's not. I don't know of anyone who necessarily automatically thinks of Far Cry as a big AAA franchise these days. Not quite the same way that we do about other stuff. Definitely the same with, like, The Division is 2 games. And the second one, I know people are still playing, and I still hear people saying about, oh, I quite like when you could do this in the first one. It doesn't have that franchise feel.
Yeah, that's the problem with The Division, because I loved The Division 2 and I really enjoyed The Division 1, even though The Division 1 fell prey to that classic Ubisoft announcing this something that is utterly incredible, like Watch Dogs, and then not quite delivering on that, and then got gun shy with the future games. But if they were to announce a Division 3 rather than keep on trying to generate content for these individual games and trying to turn them into really long tail service games, like if we could have had possibly a Division 3 by now, or at least an announced bit, and then it's maybe a year away, that would have done wonders for their share price, for the audience, because everybody's like, okay, here we go, we're gonna get a next generation Division title. I cannot wait for this, because the Division 2 fixed pretty much everything that people had an issue with the first Division, and it was one of those beacon examples of how to do live service elements, a really great co-op game, really great story and combat and features and things like that, and it fixed kind of everything. So why is it still getting content and just like dragging it out for years more than what it probably should? And, you know, Valhalla's exactly the same. It's still getting content. And I understand that people just like want to live in this Assassin's Creed world and want to keep it going, but at the end of the day, it's not enough to really reinvigorate your shareholders, your fan base, to say, okay, we're ready. We've been ready for the next Division for a couple of years now. We've been ready for the next Assassin's Creed for a couple of years now, or maybe not for that, because Valhalla was only a couple of years old. But at least the Assassin's Creed is coming, and they did the big roadmap for that for the next kind of this year and the subsequent maybe like 4 to 5 years. But there's been not a peep about the Division in terms of its future. And I hope they announce something this year for that. And it's the same with Rainbow Six Siege, right? That's been going on for ages. The same with For Honor has been going on for ages. Where's a For Honor 2 for that fan base? Because, again, very niche, like you're saying, Jamie, but they deserve a fucking sequel. Because For Honor 2 didn't have the greatest launch, but then an audience did find it, and it became huge for that audience. Really popular, really well supported. For Honor 2 should have been on the deck already by now. And it's the same with whatever the next Rainbow Six is, because that has been also not the greatest of launch, but again, the audience did come and did find it, and it became huge. It became an esports title, and it got loads of support, which was great. But where is Siege 2? And this kind of thing? And like they've got the games, they've got the franchises. I mean, where's the next Ghost Recon? I would love that series to go back to its roots, a proper tactical, military tactical game, like it was on the original when it was on the PCs, on the OG Xbox. It was proper tactical, none of this gung-ho shit like a Michael Bay movie. And that's where Future Soldier really fell down way back. Like I remember Ghost Recon Advanced Warfighter for the Xbox 360.
Yes.
That was a showcase for the next generation of gaming. And then Graw 2 was also really good, but then they went Future Soldier. It was chasing Gears of War's tail at that point, and it didn't become Ghost Recon. And then Wildlands was fun, but it didn't hit at all for me because it just felt like it was trying to be Just Cause or Grand Theft Auto. And then Breakpoint was better, but also a terrible launch with problems and things like that. And again, I think it did eventually find its way, and a lot of things got fixed and a lot of features got added. But these are tentpole Tom Clancy franchises that used to be the core of Ubisoft, along with Prince of Persia, Splinter Cell. We know a remake of Splinter Cell is coming, but where the fuck is that? That could be ages away. We just don't know how long that is going to be to materialize, and that's really unfortunate. And
it is.
Oh, anyway, rant over. But I hope they get their way back. I really do. And don't blame it on the developers. It's not their fault for executive level strategic decisions. Anyway, sorry, Sarah, I'm ranting like crazy. You're muted, my dear.
Same. Am I?
You're good now.
Oh. I sneezed a couple times and I probably just didn't unmute myself after that.
Just one time.
I
feel like Jamie had something that he was just about to say.
I think he did actually, yeah. Sorry.
Yeah.
No, all I was saying was that I think that's the problem with Ubi. I think they have far too often tried to match trends and then squeeze those trends into their current games or next iteration of their current games and franchises. And like you say, it was when you said about Graw 2, Future Soldier, chasing Gears' tail, and it did. It was a case of, we've got this new type of games popular, so okay, we'll make our franchise that new type of game, which is stupid. You can learn lessons from it, obviously. You can say, oh, they have a really good cover system, maybe we should improve our cover system, like things like that. But trying to just be like, hey, this is Marcus Phoenix, but he's dressed up as someone from Desert Storm now, which is, it doesn't work. And they've always done it. They did it with Skull and Bones, to be fair. Like, Skull and Bones came out, and I know there was some consternation, people saying, oh, it was in development before Sea of Thieves was even pirate game got popular. You had ship elements from an older pirate game you made in your AC series, and you went, fuck it, we'll make a whole game out of it. Which is fine. That's fine, and admit it. Why not do the trailer where they turn around and go, hey, you remember how the ship combat in Black Flag was kind of fun? Well, we thought we should give you more because you liked it, but also some pirates and stuff. And then I don't know, they could simplify their life so much. But yeah, so they've got to stop shoehorning. And absolutely, like you said, do not send an email out. I have actually been in that position in a small way in a company I was in, where I got told, it's like, well, how do you think that you can keep your job? Because we're struggling for money, so it's really on you to help us make enough to keep you. And my response to that was, bye. And I walked away, because that's not a comfortable
they don't value
you
them at that point. No.
Exactly. Yeah.
No, not at all.
Oh dear. I mean, it's not good, is it? It just doesn't look good. I think like I was like the both of you super excited for Skull and Bones, and it just feels like, and I kind of wish that I'd been able to play some of the beta stuff that they put out. I feel like I've just missed any announcements on how to actually join and take part in those. I'm gonna have to keep a closer eye because hopefully they'll do some more. But it's just a real shame when you feel like you've been promised something and then it doesn't follow through for whatever reason. Maybe there was a miscommunication about what they intended the game to be, or whatever. At the end of the day, we had an idea in our heads about what we thought it was going to be, and when it wasn't that, it's like, oh, I don't know how I feel about this anymore. In the same way that I still feel about Forspoken, I like playing that demo and just feeling like the game was nothing like what I expected, to the point where I like physically hurt myself from trying to play the game. I mean, this is not the same level of extreme, but like it just feels a bit like, I mean, what are you gonna, what can you do to kind of make it up to me as someone who was like, felt like they were promised something and then didn't get it? Like it feels, I don't want to sound too entitled about it, but also don't give us, don't dangle the carrot and then I don't know, and then don't give us any carrot. There was something cleverer I could have said, and I was like, oh no, brain cogs turning,
you were
hamster not in
towards
wheel.
something there. But then you just dropped it at the last minute. Like, okay, there's no carrot. The cake is a lie, Sarah. The cake is a lie.
The cake is a lie. Don't eat carrots. Don't eat your orange thing.
Well, unless it's carrot cake. Carrot cake's okay, right?
That's the only kind of cake I like, actually.
I know.
With cream cheese icing.
Oh,
I'm going to get so distracted by cake now.
I'm fucking ravenous over here. I've not eaten yet.
Yeah. I could eat a whole cake. Anyway, I digress.
So Ubisoft have gone into the baking business and they're not doing a good job at it. That's what's happened, is it?
That was exactly the metaphor I was putting together. Yeah, that was what I was trying to piece together. There's carrots, there's baking,
we definitely
there's
need
misunderstandings.
We obviously need a rabbits and a goat simulator, baking simulator crossover or something like that. You know? The chef is the goat and the rabbits are like the minions that are helping on the chef line. There we go. What kind of carnage would that be? Just ideas.
Ubisoft, you can take this idea and go
run with it.
Yeah.
Your share price will skyrocket because of these genius ideas that we're giving you.
It is baffling though. Like, how are they not? How are Ubisoft not making so much money? How? Like, when you consider the franchises that they have, like you've got Splinter Cell, which was a banner franchise of its era. You've got Assassin's Creed, which is still one of the most popular game series ever, and you've got, but even other, there's the smaller ones. Rayman is such a beloved character and beloved game series, and the Rayman Origins and Legends, as far as I'm concerned, two of the best platformers I've ever played. So you've got these incredible titles. They could be making a fortune churning out fantastic little, as well as their big banner titles, like doing more with the Rayman. But what we'll end up with instead is some video trailer on YouTube in 2 years of which promises the world of, and then it turns out to just be one of these games where you match candy. That's where Ubisoft's heading at this point, is down that route, and I don't like it for them. I want them to do better.
I know. I mean, and don't forget, like Prince of Persia has just been sitting there idling, and that remake is apparently in trouble as well, which I don't understand. How can a remake be in trouble? It's a remake. You've literally got the blueprint of what you need to accomplish. How could that be in trouble? And also Beyond Good and Evil, which is another albatross around their neck. Like Beyond Good and Evil 2, I still don't know what they're trying to do with that game. Whereas I loved the first one. It was a Zelda-like, so charming, but it had the photography elements of you like photographing the different creatures. Very I don't. Do you take pictures of creatures in Pokemon? Is it that kind of vibe, Jamie? I really don't know. But the fact that you could take pictures and stuff of the
Pokemon
creatures.
Snap was a game at one point.
Yeah, it's part of the franchise, if not part of the games. Although I think one of the more recent games, it's actually integrated it into it.
Yeah, I mean, you would have thought that an action adventure Zelda-like game that is so beloved and cult status, bring that series back in a modern context should not be that difficult. Whereas they're trying to do some really weird thing with it and make it. I remember like they were trying to do some like get some artists to sign up to this kind of like initiative within the universe of Beyond Good and Evil to contribute to stuff, and it was a really weird thing that they were trying to do with it. And like, why? It's just make a really kick-ass story in this brilliant world that you've already established with the first game. Even just remake the first game at this point. Maybe just like shelve Beyond Good and Evil 2 because you don't know what you're doing with it. Just fully remake the first game, find that audience, bring that audience back again, and then establish a roadmap going forward and a strategy going forward for that game. And don't fuck around with it and make it overly complex and these like this weird plan for it. Just make a really great open world sci-fi kind of game with like the animals and the creatures that talk. Like the Warthog character was amazing. Bring Jade back, and I mean, does it have to be this complicated, guys? Game development can't be that hard, surely. Game development must be easy. Come on, we're solving all the problems here.
But it's interesting though, isn't it? Like we're sitting here and going, oh, this would be a great idea. This would be a great idea. This would be a great idea. It seems absolutely rich for anyone at top level to be accusing anyone at sort of like core dev level of being responsible for whether or not something does well or does not. If they're the kinds of people that are making these decisions, which clearly aren't landing, and they don't seem to be seeking like advice, from the community, from anywhere. It doesn't feel like they're asking us what we want, and here we are literally going, here's some ideas. I mean, we don't have to do the cake thing, but like it's there.
I don't even know what the cake thing was. So
I don't know what the cake thing was. It was a confusing metaphor.
It was a time. It is. I know. I know. Like in wrestling terms, they call it armchair booking. I know it's easy to sit back and go, just do this. Yeah. Right? Obviously. And I know none of us are actually suggesting that. Yeah, it's that simple. Developer, make the game, right? But you have an incredibly talented team or teams of developers who are sat there who are probably, I would imagine, because being in games development, it's a creative medium, and even when you get down to the nitty-gritty of they're spending hours and hours a day, bashing in code, it's a creative medium because they want the game to do the thing that they see in their head.
Yeah. You've
got these guys who must be absolutely climbing the walls at times with an idea they have or a thing they want to do. You always hear about developers leaving companies because they want to go out on their own and make the game that they've dreamed of. It's that kind of a medium. It impacts that kind of a mindset. And so if you're actually going to have the audacity to turn around to your workforce and say, if we don't make any money this quarter, that's on you fuckers. If you're going to be that guy, don't be don't be that guy, but two, be that guy proactively. Like turn around and say, hey guys, like you can make or break this company in a good way because we think that you've got talent that we're not tapping. So why don't you tell us what we should be doing? And 90% of your most likely gamers, or 95, probably all of you, but I don't know why I picked 90%. That's fucking stupid. But it's like, you're almost likely gamers. What are people playing? What should we be doing? Instead of having this team of weary wee beige fuckers in touch. Like, I can picture this meeting room of these bastards who they're in black and white, maybe sepia tone, and they're sat there counting fucking money from one pot of money to another pot of money. Yeah, very much, very much buried with a stake of honey through his heart types, right? So you've got them, and they're sat there in this room, And they're not looking at what people want to play, and they're not looking at their historical successes and saying, hey, that's the things that people... They're looking at it going, what sort of things are people making money out of these days? And they're taking those trends, and then that should never be the focus of how the game comes about. I know the business has to make money, I get that, and obviously, but I don't think it should drive the creativity. It should never be a case of... I don't think any game company should ever sit down and go, what do we have to make the most money? It's going to be, what ideas have we got? How do we make that idea make us money? That's fine. But and I think that's the trap Ubisoft have fallen into. They're listening to the beige council of accountants, and it's not...
the Illuminati of accountants, yeah.
Just sat there rubbing their hands together and just scraping diamonds into small black velvet bags. It's just not a good idea.
Well, I really do hope that they can get back on course, if I can use a naval metaphor. Because Ubisoft used to be my favorite publisher developer back in the day because of the Prince of Persia: The Sands of Times, and then Warrior Within, and the Two Princes, and the Splinter Cell games, and Rainbow Six Vegas, and the original Ghost Recon games. I really hope that they can get back on, fix the issues and really get back on course, I guess, and give the fans properly what they want, and obviously what they kind of are expecting as well. Because I don't want to see Ubisoft go under, go bankrupt or whatever, because it's like more publishers that were kind of radical risk takers like they used to be. The industry is better for it. And so I really hope they can come out and get over this really bumpy, awful kind of time and just refocus, re-strategize, and focus on their core IPs, and still have the creative stuff, the smaller creative projects, and just get through this, because it's quite nasty. But anyway, that was like 40 minutes of the first topic. So damn. But it was a good discussion, and one definitely worth having, that we had a lot to say about. So next topic is obviously Xbox and Bethesda are finally going to be doing a developer direct. So this will be, I guess, format wise, kind of a first for Xbox to do like a state of play sort of thing, or like a Nintendo Direct. So this could be an amazing new format that can be a regular thing, much faster cadence to find out what their amazing lineup of first-party studios now, because they have like 50 amazing developers under their banner now, or maybe more than that, to hear directly from them. And because there's so many franchises that we're waiting to find out about, that some are really far off and some are in the near future. So this one is a new game showcase, providing fans an inside look at some of the games coming to Xbox, PC, and Game Pass over the next few months. So the very near horizon, which is obviously great. It will air on January 25th and feature Xbox studios like Arcane Austin, Mojang, Turn 10, and ZeniMax Online. And it's going to be focusing specifically on Redfall, The Elder Scrolls Online, and Forza, and Minecraft Legends. And they have said that, hey, what about the elephant in the room that is Starfield? So that's going to be getting its own dedicated deep dive later on. So this is the start of, like, because we were complaining about the Video Game Awards, like Xbox didn't have a single presence at the Video Game Awards. Like, there was no announcements, there was no trailers, there was nothing. Like, what are you doing, Big Phil? Why is there nothing? And it's obviously great to say, okay, like, we've been working on this. This has taken months to plan. That's why we weren't at VGAs. So we're going to be doing a developer direct at the end of January, and that's when we're going to talk about things that are not a year or 2 years away, in the next couple of months, that you can expect to be playing this stuff. So I am really, really excited to find out way more about Redfall, because I'm still a little bit on the fence about that. I love Arcane. I love the fact that it's doing kind of the Buffy thing, Jamie, where it's that kind of village like Sunnydale, and you're these vampire hunters. So that, and it's a co-op game, and it's going to be very like systems led, because Arcane do very systemic games, simulation type of games where you really get to experiment and for your approach with the Dishonored series and Prey and everything. So Redfall is still like one that I'm like, I want it to be absolutely fucking spectacular. I can't wait, and I hope they really deliver that. And I'm sure they probably will, because the pedigree there. But also Forza Motorsport, I like to dip into racing games occasionally, and the Forza Motorsport core is the core Gran Turismo competitor for Xbox. I know more focus has kind of been given over to Horizon, as it's kind of overtaken it as like the bigger franchise, because it's more accessible, a bit more appealing, a bit more playgroundy, whereas this is much more sim track racing. But I just can't wait to see what the power of the Series X can do with a dedicated circuit racer, because it could be spectacular. And of course, one for you, Jamie, Minecraft Legends is going to be getting a deep look at whatever their future is as well. So I'll pass the bat and the microphone to yourself.
I'm hugely excited to see what they're doing with Minecraft Legends, and they've mentioned they're going to be looking into the PvP mode. So sign me up. Minecraft, obviously, very close to my heart, and it has, although it is at its core a big Lego set, it reached a point where it's definitely built. It has a lore now. You know, you have all of this, these baddies that were originally put in just to give you something to fight, and then obviously now they have a lore, and it's built up over the years. So using that to now spin off into other games, I think is a brilliant idea. So I'm looking forward to seeing Minecraft Legends. Forza, for me, is a really weird one, because, again, I don't play racing games. I will pick them up now and again. I'll play a kart racer to death, but
sure,
the hyper-realistic ones, not for me. But I always look out for what Forza is doing, because it is that representation of what they've figured out how to do next, like, especially graphically. That was a terribly constructed sentence, but graphically, I always find that Forza is a really good windsock to watch to see which way the weather's blowing.
Yeah,
because it was, I remember the first time seeing one of the Forza games, and you saw it, the car drive down the road, and watched the reflection of everything it passed shimmering in the side of the car, and I was blown away by it. Like early days, when the first time they did that level of reflection on the move. And that was Forza. Like they're always pushing the envelope graphically. Gameplay and stuff, I have absolutely no doubt is brilliant, but I'm not going to end up playing it, so I've got nothing to tell you on that one. But yeah, Minecraft, I'm really excited to see what they do with Redfall, because obviously, and you can sign me up for that, and anything co-op I will always be looking at. The one thing that's mentioned in there is that I'm going to be really negative about from it is that we're also finding out what's the next stage for Elder Scrolls Online.
Sure.
I have a suggestion for the next stage of the Elder Scrolls Online. Fucking scrap it. Give up.
It's quite harsh.
And give me Skyrim multiplayer. I'm so annoyed constantly at ESO, because I hear it's brilliant. I really do want to play. And that is obviously that is a little bit of hyperbole in there, because I do hear good things about ESO now. So I need to basically, I need to swallow the bile that I still have from the fact that it was never what I wanted it to be in the first place. So
but you got PC, Jamie. Isn't there a mod for Skyrim co-op? So shut your face. You got the options to do it.
I wouldn't know anything about such things that may or may not. No, actually, they're very good at supporting the modding community. I'll say that. So. But no. The point really is that I've decided now is probably the time where I finally swallow the bile and actually take a look at how Elder Scrolls Online is doing now, because there was nothing there in the early days.
Sure,
and I think that's something the same to our previous forums. The same with Fallout 76. It was too bare, too barren. Yeah. And you've got this incredibly rich world, and they didn't quite have it down. But this was their first foray into the field of MMOs and stuff. They were still figuring out what they could put in and what they couldn't, and how it would work and all that. So ESO stayed boring just too long to hold me, and I walked away.
Yeah.
But now I've got friends who are like diving back into it, and I get hooked on it. So I'll be keeping an eye on that, especially because they're talking about this new feature coming in new regions of Tamriel and stuff. So yeah, all in all, it's a very exciting prospect. It'll be interesting to see what they come out with.
Yeah, I am with you on the Skyrim thing, because when ESO, I was the same. It's like, oh great, we're going to get Skyrim, but I can play it with friends, and it obviously wasn't that. It was a proper MMO. It was a little bit bare bones and barren, and it wasn't Skyrim with a multiplayer. And whatever they decide to do with the Elder Scrolls 6, when that eventually rolls around in another decade or whenever it comes out, we'll all be 50, 60 years old by the time it comes around. Like 2050, I would imagine it will materialize. But
I hope that
if there's a drop-in, drop-out co-op for that, then that would be amazing. Like, I don't need an MMO. I don't need it to be massively multiplayer. I just need it like 2 or 3 friends to jump in and just go like rampaging across the world of Skyrim, or wherever the landmass is, whether it goes back to Tamriel or somewhere else. I just want that. I just want to be adventuring with my buds, and it better be crossplay with PC and Xbox. That's all I'm saying, because
yes,
if it's
please,
not, I'll be quite disappointed. But to circle back to ESO, I think it's actually super popular now, and like they turned it around within like a year or so, a year to 2 years, and now it's just getting expansion, and I believe it's just like one of a really good example of MMO now, and again, super popular, tons of content. So it's obviously great that they managed to do that. But again, I think we've mentioned this previously as well. It's like you get a first impression, and you only get a first impression. If that first impression doesn't hit, you will never go back to it, regardless of how much they turn a game around. And they have to work really hard in order to get that audience back to say, look, we know we fucked up. Please come back, because it's a totally different game. Like, I always come back to No Man's Sky. Like, No Man's Sky is a totally different game, and that is the success story. And it is one of my all-time favorite games because of how chill it is, how cool it is to just be proper sci-fi, and have your ship do some mining, do some trading, do some space combat, and then just do like weird stuff, like scanning weird creatures. It's just, there's very few games like No Man's Sky that just embrace like proper hardcore sci-fi, and a great turnaround as well. As basically what I'm rambling and trying to get to is the turnaround success story. Anyway, so what's next? What's our next topic? Is that it? Surely not. Do we have nothing else to talk about?
Yes.
Oh my goodness. Oh, okay. We actually have managed to blitz. There wasn't very many topics this week, to be fair, and I knew Ubisoft was going to be a long one, and I knew the Microsoft one was going to be a long one. So, I'm just going to talk about a little bit about Monster Hunter Rise. Sarah is out. It's on Game Pass, and it's been out on PC for ages. Still sore that it's not crossplay. I really am, because that crossplay, cross saves would have just been perfection for that, because then we could have jumped in. So it's on Game Pass right now, and here's the thing. This is my dilemma, Sarah, right? Because I really want to play Monster Hunter with you, but you might be getting it on PC, in which case I'm screwed because I can't play with you on PC. And I'm thinking, but will Sarah be getting it on PlayStation 5? Because then I would be tempted to get it on PS5, so we could please play together. But if you're not, I'm putting it all on you. It's all your fault. So if you're going to go PC route, because you don't have an Xbox, you don't have an Xbox.
It's the Ubisoft approach, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. It's all on you to make this relationship a success going forward. Right?
Well, this is awkward, because I definitely already have it on PC.
Okay, well, fuck you then. Okay.
I'm so sorry. I'm the reason why.
What you're telling me is the both of you are on PC. I need to get into the PC game. Is what we're saying.
This is exactly what I'm trying to tell you.
Okay.
Yeah, and I'm sure Jamie's been telling you for years. This is the year.
It is the most complete platform for sure, especially with more and more first party console exclusives making their way over there. So I think my first foray might be a Steam Deck. because that would be fine.
Oh, good
You know,
shout.
because
really good shout.
I get the best of PC and the best of portability, so I can still cross. Well, I can still play on the PC version with you, so that would be fine. I mean, yeah. Damn, maybe 2023 will be the year I go into PC gaming. I don't know.
I believe in
It
you.
could happen.
I believe in you.
I believe in God, love.
Right.
Anyway. And the last bit of news I have, before we talk about maybe what we're looking forward to in the next kind of couple of months and stuff like that, is I am now the Lord of Cinder, the Ashen One, for Dark Souls 3. I finally finished Dark Souls 3, guys. I was so freaking elated. That final boss, I was stuck on. I'm not kidding. I was stuck on the final boss for like a year, and then this past week or 2 weeks. I just started over. I started a brand new character. I played slightly differently with my my stat allocation, and for some reason, it wasn't that bad. This time, the final boss was not that bad. I clearly got good. I clearly got really good, and I managed to time my Estus flask sippage. And I managed to time my dodge rolls at just the right time, whereas I think before I was just completely screwing it up all the time, and I was always getting these death blows, almost like 1-2 hit death blows from the boss every single time, and I could never dodge them. For some reason, it all came together, and I managed to do it, and oh my god, what a feeling. Few games give you that feeling, right? Of the final boss in a Dark Souls game or a FromSoft game. Oh my god.
Yeah.
So I'm working my way through the DLC just now. I've just finished Ashes of Ariando, which was spectacular. Short, but so good. And I've now just started the Ringed City DLC, which is a continuation of the Ashes of Ariando DLC. And my God, it's kicked off in controller throwing fashion, Jamie. I'm not kidding you. They've just like, okay, you thought you could do Ashes of Ariando? Nah. Here's a whole bunch of fuckery. A whole bunch of fuckery just to wind you up in the first like couple of hours of this DLC. I haven't even got to the Ring City yet. I'm in the dreg heap trying to get to the Ring City. And I'm just fucking dying constantly at the moment. I'm like, oh, you bastard, you bastard, that kind of stuff. Exactly like that. Exactly like that. But I have to say, Dark Souls 3 is my favorite. Is my favorite Souls game. I haven't played much of Sekiro, and a lot of people say Sekiro is their favorite, but I haven't been able to really click with it. Although it is, I understand why, because it's you're a shinobi, it's a Japanese setting, it's gorgeous as well, very different shake up for the formula. I get it, but I always go back to Dark Souls 3, and I still think Elden Ring is their best game, but Dark Souls 3 is my favorite. Then Elden Ring, then Bloodborne. I have to say, sorry, I know Sarah, you're Bloodborne first.
Yeah, you better put Bloodborne in there.
Of course. It's kind of like a three-way tie. Is the thing? It's like they're all amazing.
It's so tough, isn't it? Yeah,
Can't really separate.
I agree. It's tough though, isn't it? Because I think there are so many great elements to all three of them. So it almost seems unfair to compare them, but also they're kind of, they're in the same family. So I think it's all right. Who's your favorite sibling, basically?
Jamie is my favorite sibling. Yeah.
I'm right here. Come on, man.
Good, bro.
It's because I abandoned you in Fortnite. That's why. Because I kept running off.
Exactly. Although Jamie had that classic rampage in the boosted up warthog, which was hilarious. Oh my god,
so good.
Fun. Sometimes you just gotta park a car on a guy. That's apparently that's my new thing.
So much fun. We need to get back into Fortnite actually and have another couple of sessions. It'd be really good. Maybe this week we can do that. But before we wrap, what are you guys looking forward to over the next kind of this month, next month? Because Dead Space Remake is out at the end of this month as well, and there's a few other things. Persona is actually the classic Persona games have just hit Xbox, like Persona 4, Persona 3. They're obviously really, really cool. A new Fire Emblem game just came out as well, which is apparently doing really, really well. Anything that's piquing your interest, guys?
Dead Space for sure.
Dead Space.
Yeah, that's been on the radar for ages, and after the kind of not so not so good landing of Callisto Protocol.
Callisto,
I'm like, okay,
yeah.
come on, Dead Space, you got this. And did we got a video? I want to say maybe a month ago. And it just looked so good, like beautiful, and the details were terrifying. So that's going to be amazing. And that must be, is that not like next week maybe that it's coming
I
out?
think it is actually. Like the 26th or something. Yeah, it's really, really
that sounds
soon.
right. That sounds right.
Fast.
I don't know if we'll be able to play it. Because we don't have... So one of the things I was going to do, I said to Connor, is it unreasonable to bring the PS5 with us to New Zealand? And apparently the answer is yes, that is unreasonable.
It's a chunky boy.
Oh, well.
Yeah.
Maybe we should just buy a new one somehow.
I know.
And then we can have two.
Well, I mean, you do have to have a his and hers. It's only fair that you have to divide your... What if you want to play co-op together at the same time? You can't do that on the same console.
Well, exactly. And we've had issues because we have a PS4 and a PS5. We've had issues with games that aren't cross-console, cross-generation.
Right. Cross-gen, yeah.
So we need two PlayStation 5s. That's the answer to that.
You're making the case. I'm sold. I fully... I'll sign up to this endorsement thing. Yeah, exactly.
We'll get a hashtag going.
Yeah. So Connor, if you're listening, buy your soon-to-be lovely wife a PS5 but get it on the wedding list. Get it on the register. PS5. There you go.
Yeah, some people ask for honeymoon money. That's not the case here.
Exactly.
we need more gaming money.
Yeah. Jesus. Yeah, no. I think that's perfectly acceptable, Jamie, right? I mean, if I had to go back and do a wedding register, I would do stuff I actually fucking want. Not stuff that's expected, yeah.
I do with anything, like birthday, Christmas stuff. I mean, I tend to, people say to me, what do you want? I don't want anything, because I genuinely don't these days. I've hit that age where, because I'm ancient, and I've hit that age where I'm just like, oh, I don't want anything. I want stuff. I don't want it. It's just more things for someone to sort out when I die. I don't need that anymore. But I was channeling my inner Mark Maron then for a minute, I think. But no, I agree. I think it's a good idea. I think that's what you do. You fill out your wedding. Like people will be saying, going, "Oh, let's see what's on there." It'll be bone china, and this is just games. It's just games, and at the bottom it says as many crates of monsters as you can fit in a van. I don't understand. This is okay, sure.
Yeah.
Sign me up. You know,
I don't want 5 blenders.
No, exactly. So look, we've already got our household stuff. We've already got the kitchen stuff all sorted. Just make a wee donation to.
You need to
the fund instead.
Do what everyone does these days. Write a twee poem. Well, I'm sorry to people who are planning about. Right, okay. I was married for a number of years, right, and until obviously, unfortunately, that wasn't where my life was headed. But we planned the wedding, we did the whole thing, and we had the guest book, we had all this. We had arguments about whether or not I would wear a tie. The answer was no. But we had that moment where it was like, well, we didn't really have a wedding list. We didn't really have a gift list, and we didn't really want one. And it's like, well, do you do the thing everyone does with the little poems? We have a cooker, and we have a pan, and we have a place to put a man. I don't know. I was going for that.
Wait, let me take notes.
Yeah, and it was always like, but if you'd like to give us money, do. And that's how it always goes. There's always, you get the invite, and in it basically you get a poem that says, look, we don't want any of your shit. Just walk over the green. Which I think is brilliant. But why I want to get invited to a wedding and get a poem that's basically just like hickory dickory dash. Just give us lots of cash. Fucking be upfront with it. Don't mess me about. I'll be happy.
So listeners, if you haven't guessed already, Jamie is available for commissions of poetry for your wedding.
I genuinely
in general
do
as
that
well.
as a side hustle. I
Yeah,
actually
side hustle.
that is like genuinely a thing that I have done, and I do enjoy writing. It's better than the crap I just came out with involving the space to put a man. But yeah, I think people need to start being a little bit more honest in their wedding prep and being just like, hey, we've been together for 15 years. We've done it all. We've bought a house. We're as committed as we can actually get at this point. But now this is just for us because we want to do it. This is so we can both look pretty and stand up in front of our friends and say, hey, we love each other. And while we're at it, you will get to come, have a great dinner, get drunk, and tell tremendous stories, and one of you will ruin this day for us. So whoever it is, you're paying double. But generally speaking, the rest of you, just fork over the lolly. We'll leave a big bin by the door. Just put all of your spare cash in it as you come in, and then all of your change at the end of the night as you go out, and then go away. And we will spend it as we see fit. That, I think, is a beautiful...
Yeah. Or hire a small child to go through everybody's pockets whilst they're up on the dance floor, so they have no idea that cash is taken out of their wallets.
Victorian-themed wedding with real cut purses. That's what you need, yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Wow.
We should be in event planning.
The tangent.
We absolutely should.
Anyway, let's call it a wrap there before it goes even more sideways into weird and territory. That has been episode 91 of the Weekend Casual Club podcast, everyone. Thank you for tuning in, listening, supporting the channel, wherever you are listening or watching. First episode back, kicking us off for 2023. It's going to be an exciting year. There's lots of fun stuff to look forward to. I'm sure there's going to be tons of announcements, and I can't wait to just chew the cud with my amigos here. But that's it. Take care, and we'll see you on next week's show. Bye-bye.